Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel gyaaniPARAM. Today I'm in front of Tower Bridge, one of the most iconic places in the world. Today I want to bring you a success story about Gaurav Siyal, who's an ACCA member and has a lot of Big Four experience. I want to cover his journey as to how he completed the qualification. I'll take his perspective on the very debatable topic these days on exemptions, and also he will share you few tips how you can progress in your career at a very rapid pace. He will also share some of the tech tips with you, which will help you in creating a niche for yourself. So let's dive into the video and let's welcome Gaurav Siyal. Hey Gaurav, welcome to my channel gyaaniPARAM. Thanks for being here. And I wanted to do this from a really long time, but finally we got a chance to shoot this at a very beautiful location, the Tower Bridge, and a very iconic place for most of the people who come over here. Plus, it's personally for me, I have a lot of memories in this place, so there cannot be any other better place to shoot this particular video. So Gaurav, just for introductions, can you just throw some light who you are, what you have done, and then we'll showcase what you have done in your ACCA journey. So over to you.
Sure. First of all, thanks a lot, Param, for having me here on your channel. And yeah, definitely, I can't think of a better place where to have this conversation at this point. So my name is Gaurav Siyal. I'm based out of Bangalore. I did my schooling from St. Joseph's College of Commerce. When I started off pursuing my ACCA along with my undergraduate degree. Post that, I joined a leading Big Four, and currently I'm working with the Big Four in the audit practice as a manager.
Great, amazing. So coming back to ACCA, Gaurav, right? I asked this question to many of the people because choosing the qualification is the first step. So how did you go about that?
Yeah, so it was quite funny. It was back, I guess, in 2014 when I was close to completing my 12th grade, and then I had the question, okay, what do I do next? Yeah, BCom was one of the go-to options, but then I always knew that there was some professional qualification that I want to pursue along with it. But then the question came as to which qualification do I go to, and I just went on the internet. I started googling as to what are the various options available.
Yeah.
Top of the list was chartered accountancy, the Indian CA, and I was like, okay. But is there something else in the market? Because I know everyone, a lot of my friends have been doing CA as well, and that was the go-to option. But is there something else which I could, try out? And after digging a bit and talking to a few people, I came across ACCA, and I started doing a bit more research on what this is about, and yeah, that's how it all started.
That's amazing. The first step is actually very difficult. I remember how I started ACCA. It was a very different scenario, but kudos to you that you didn't take the traditional route which is followed in India, that we go for the Indian CA, but there are many other options available. ACCA is one. CPA is also a very good qualification. So great job, Gaurav. You actually managed to take that first difficult step so confidently. That's something I've seen in your personality as well. You do not shy away from taking any risk. But then you decided ACCA. But how is your journey? How was your study life? Any roadblocks you faced? How many times you have flunked? And if you can share something for the people who can get inspired, and then we will cover what are the benefits of doing ACCA as well.
Sure, Param. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I started off with my ACCA back in 2015 with my undergraduate degree, and at that point it was an all paper-based exam, and not just paper-based. I guess we had at that point 14 papers to complete, and compared to now we have just 13 papers.
Yep.
So yeah, I started off back then, and it was quite an interesting journey for me personally as well. Quite challenging as well. There are, I would say, a lot of sacrifices that we had to make through this journey. And personally, like, I started off when I was in college, fresh in my undergraduation, and there's always that that want and desire to enjoy your college life, live the best of it, because again, it's not a phase of your life which will come back. And that was actually a challenge which I had to balance. A lot of sacrifices that I had to make in that point as well, in terms of, okay, do I take part in certain extracurricular, co-curricular activities, which specific events I would participate in, and so on. So those were some of the challenging points through this journey. And I guess by my final year, when I was close to graduation, I was posed with another challenge similar to this, as to, okay, I'm almost done with the profession, so I'm almost done with the my undergraduation.
Yep.
Qualification also was going quite well. Touch wood, luckily I did not fail a single paper. All the papers I cleared in my first go.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, and by the time I was close to completing my graduation, I was left with 3 papers, to complete. And at that point, I had the question in my mind. So, do I, go for college placements, because there are a lot of companies coming in for hiring, and so do I go sit in for placements, or take a time break and complete the qualification and then go into working? And that actually kept me thinking for quite a while. Do I go down this route or not? And finally, I made up my mind. Like, okay, I'll take a year's break. I will complete the qualification and then get into a job. So that was one of the most challenging decisions I had to make in this journey. If I were to talk about some of the highs as well, there were quite a lot of instances which I can remember as well. One which comes back to my mind at this point was back in 2018, when I wrote my advanced financial management paper, and we get this results at 4:30, 5 a.m. India time. And that morning of the results, the previous night of the results, no one gets sleep. Every student has this anxiety. Okay, I'll just stay up till 5 a.m. till 5:30. I will see the results, and then I'll go to sleep. So it was the same case for me. I got the results, quite happy with what I got, and I went to sleep. And after a few hours, when I got up, I got another communication saying I was All India rank 2 and Global rank 3 for this paper. And at that point, I was like, wow. So that was one of my memorable moments through this journey.
I'm sure you would have celebrated quite a lot that day, and you made your family proud. So that's simply amazing, right? So again, it's a journey. As Gaurav mentioned, there are a lot of sacrifices we do need to make. It's not like there's this trend these days that okay, I want everything, but I might not make any sacrifices whatsoever, right? It doesn't work out like that in real life. There are some ups and downs, which Gaurav also mentioned. But when you see those ups, you tend to forget those downs very easily, because success really matures you, really humbles you as well to a very large extent. And the failures are a part of our life, right? So do not get bogged down if you're not clearing any of your exams. Keep the hustle on, I would always say. Gaurav, there's a lot of debate going on these days. You would have heard about exemptions, then conditional exemptions, which have come in as well for graduates. But I just wanted to take your perspective. You now have a good amount of exposure in the Big Four industry, plus you've done your qualification. How many exemptions you took, and what is your perspective? What approach should people take when it comes to claiming exemptions?
Yeah. Very valid question, Param, and I personally have seen a lot of debates, a lot of people arguing both for and against these exemptions. And yeah, ACCA, as it is growing into markets, as it's growing into different countries, it has evolved the way that people pursue the qualification as well. There was a point when people wrote all 14 papers, or now say 13 papers to get the qualification. There was then a point where, say, people who were already qualified from one profession, or so from one licensing authority, and then took a bridging exemption in ACCA. So there have been various routes, and in India as well, we have famously, I guess, about 3 different type of exemptions, like a 4-paper exemption, a 6-paper exemption, and some institutions even say a 9-paper exemption, which is sometimes scary as well. So yeah, coming back to me personally, so when I completed my, or when I was pursuing my qualification, I had a 6-paper exemption, so F1 to F6, and then I directly started writing F7, F8, F9.
So you took all the exemptions, right?
Yeah, for 6-paper exemptions.
Okay. And you regret that?
I wouldn't say I regret it personally. But again, on the point of exemptions, my view is that it's an individual choice for the person whether they should take the exemption or not. But whichever route they take, whether they want to go for the exemption or not go for the exemption, they need to question themselves and ask, are they fundamentally strong in those foundation papers? You may take the exemption, absolutely fine, and it's all good. But as long as your foundations are strong, your say F7, F8, F9, or even the papers that you took your exemptions in, your tax, your performance management, as long as those fundamental concepts are strong, it's good. And if your fundamentals are not strong, then the journey can be quite difficult and can also turn out to be quite expensive.
Exactly.
Because a building is only as good as its foundation.
I totally agree with this, Gaurav, right? And one thing I also wanted to convey to everyone, that see yourself, see how comfortable you are with taking these exemptions, how confident you are about the subject matter, right? Never see that, okay, my friend has taken 9 exemptions, I should go for the same. You do not know his story or how much clarity he has. Gaurav mentioned a very valid point about the foundation. It needs to be really strong, but yeah, debate is a debate. Many people will be for it or against it as well, but you can see those videos. It's absolutely fine, or uh, go in that debate as well. But at the end of the day, this is your decision. It's your qualification and it's your journey. So definitely introspect. If you need any assistance from any of the mentors, I know a lot of people in the ACCA community, members, people who are working with big organizations, right? I can always patch you up with them, and it's very important to understand different journeys as well. So that gives you this perspective. Gaurav, so qualification is done. Do you think if you're done with the qualification, that's it, you don't need to learn anything, you're done with your papers, you're fine, you're doing a job as well, right? But how do you see, how do you want people to get inspired? Why it is very important to have a continuous learning journey in the life?
Yeah. Again, a very valid question, Param. So, qualification is just one aspect of your overall career.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's very important that you have this qualification because at the end of the day, it matters a lot. But qualification alone is not everything. You need to have that continuous learning, the continuous upskilling throughout your career journey. Otherwise, you will definitely, lag behind the rest of the pack. So, continuous improvement, continuous learning, getting into new areas as well. That's what will give you a ultimate cutting edge in the market.
So, Gaurav, my next question, which is very close to my heart as well, and I've seen you progressing quite excellently in this field, right? You're an ACCA, but now you're one of the lead automation champions in the FS industry, I can call it, right? So, just an experience from your life journey book, right? How it is very important to do something different apart from your qualification.
Yeah. So very interestingly, like as I mentioned, I'm in the audit industry, and I started off as a staff. When I started off, there were so many things which I, personally executed, which were repetitive, monotonous, boring as well at some points, and like this is something which could easily be automated if someone just, put their heads to it or tried to make that change, and which is actually something we can see how the market is today. There are several processes which we did even 4 years back and today are redundant and or have been highly automated.
Yeah.
So that's where my interest started, with that, you know um, trying to find a way out of doing the repetitive monotonous things. um, I started off with learning low code no code tools such as, say, Power BI, Microsoft Power Apps, Power Automate, things like that, and then slowly also touched a bit upon Alteryx
Yeah.
through this journey. So
Yeah.
these are actually, quite simple tools to learn. Just that, again, touching back on the previous point that we had on continuous learning. So this was one of the areas where I invested a bit of my time to upskill myself personally.
Yep, and I think it's very important when I go for or see any interviews which are happening, right? People will have CA, ACCA, CPA, right? But there are so many people with the same qualification, and not taking any credit away. These are very difficult qualifications to pursue and complete. But then it's very important to have your niche as well, right? How will, just think about the interviewer, right? How he will decide who to choose among so many candidates who are there, right? And this can surely give you an edge. There's a lot of tech which is how we are evolving in everything we do, right? So much of tech is involved. People are finding more efficient ways to do things, and if in today's time, especially if you're not knowledgeable or you do not have a niche on the tech side, it can be a bit difficult to get jobs as well. And also for the experienced folks, I feel we spoke about that learning is a continuous journey. If you are there in a job for year, X number of years, it's very important for you to upskill yourself at a very rapid pace, and also evolve with time. These days, I don't think, Gaurav, right, that I can survive with what I learned, say, 4 years back or 5 years
Absolutely.
back. So it's very
Uh,
difficult to comprehend how we can just not evolve and Thanks for sharing these tools, right? So my personal favorites are Power BI, Power Automate, SharePoint to some extent, uh, and then Alteryx as well, which is a very wonderful tool. So, and I'll put it in the description. What are the learning resources for these? There's a lot of content on YouTube
YouTube.
where people can leverage this upon. I get a lot of messages on LinkedIn as well, right? What should I do in terms of certification? What should I do? I've already done with my qualification, or I have some spare time. So these are the things. It's very easy to learn as well. So do spend that big amount of time in this particular area. But thanks for sharing that perspective, Gaurav. Right, Gaurav. My next question would be, right, we are standing in 2023. There are so many options in the market. You have the best of accounting qualifications, MBA, and whatnot, right? But my personal favorite, which I have done, right, ACCA, and you as well. Why should somebody pick up ACCA at this point of time, and what can be the career perspective or growth for that particular person?
Yeah, why should someone do ACCA in 2023? So when I look back at my own journey, so from 2019 to now,
Yeah,
uh, definitely I can vouch for this one fact that employers respect the qualification, they value it. It's recognized across the industry. So definitely, respect of the employers is one definite, I would say, reason why people should go for the qualification. Second, would be the qualification. It makes you future ready. The syllabus is consistently updated. It's
exactly.
reviewed, and
Yeah,
on a regular basis, it's updated so that the content is relevant to the current market, to the current macroeconomic environment, for the various updates that are happening. For a classic example, ESG and is something which is a very hot topic right now.
yeah,
But ACCA already had integrated reporting back in almost 5 years back in its syllabus.
wow,
So something which it prepares you for the future. Um, and my last reason would be it's a passport to global opportunities. The
exactly,
qualification, it
100%.
opens doors for employment opportunities across the world. It's recognized in several other countries as well. There are different qualification bodies which have this mutual recognition agreement with ACCA, wherein they mutually recognize each other's qualification, or
Yeah,
there's a bridge qualification that you can take from ACCA to another body. So these, I guess, would be the main reasons, or why someone should take up ACCA even today.
exactly. So yeah, Gaurav, I completely agree with this point. ACCA is a very progressive qualification. Gone are the days where I used to hear quite a lot that what is ACCA, especially in India, right?
Yeah.
We get this question a lot, but the job market is pretty hot for ACCAs, even CPAs and other options which are available, or alternates you can call them, right? And when I say alternate, it's like not the traditional route of doing a CA. Again, all the qualifications are really amazing, not taking credit away from any one of them. But as I said, I am an ACCA. Today I have Gaurav with me who is an ACCA as well, right? So we can speak about the qualification. He mentioned a very good point in terms of how future ready it can make a person, or a market ready in terms of the job market which is there, right? ESG is a classic example. We had this in our course, and it evolves with time. It's not like a qualification which will remain stagnant for a very long time,
Yep.
right? And I have seen the changes from the days I completed. I used to give exams in London, the famous Excel center over here, all the written papers, but now I see it is so convenient to do it on a computer. But the level of knowledge and level of say, you can also refer this to the mindset change it can bring once you're done with the qualification and you go through that journey. So a very relevant point, Gaurav, right? Last couple of pointers, what would be the top 3 tips for the students who are doing the qualification, not just ACCA but others as well? I know you spoke a lot about sacrifices, giving time, and I can see in your journey you didn't uh, fail in any of the exams. I know you have put in a lot of hard work. So just if you can let me know what would be the top 3 tips for the people.
Yep. As it, I had 3 tips for people here, or for everyone who's pursuing or planning to pursue. First, time management. Manage your time. Identify how much hours you need to spend. Prepare a proper plan, or your study plan, such that it's not something that you can just pick up 1 month before the exam and complete the entire syllabus in a month or two. You need to plan, you need to invest the time. So time management is very important. Second thing, again, linked to the first point, is set realistic goals. Um, Probably, yes, your goals might be, I want to complete ACCA by X year, or I want to finish 4 papers in 2023. These are very macro level goals that people set. Rather, break them down, to smaller aspects. Like, okay, if I'm doing financial reporting, I will complete, say, 2 accounting standards within the next 3 days. I will complete another set of topics by so and so date. So set smaller, realistic goals, so that can be the means to you achieving the end result or the end goal that you have set. And lastly, and I cannot emphasize how important this is, practice, practice, practice. Practice your revision kit, practice your, mock papers, practice your past exam papers, read the examiner's comments, what they have provided. These are very valuable. These are and very much required. And when you're practicing, practice under exam conditions. Like, time yourself and see how long are you taking to complete a specific question or a specific case study. And that's very important from my point of view.
Yep, practice, practice, practice. I guess these are the three. Go one word, but if you say it 3 times, right? We just want to emphasize the importance. One good point Gaurav made is go through the examiner's comment, and you'll understand why people don't get marks specifically, and what areas they need to improve upon. Go through it after every exam, checking, and when the results are out, these are published. It's very important to go through them. I know till date many people do ignore this particular section where you can get hands-on information as to what things you can improve upon, right? And I got one good tip from my tutor back in the days over here, that you have to fight for each and every mark in the paper. It's not like I will leave this particular section, I will leave this particular area of the say exam paper, right? You need to thoroughly invest time, go through each and every area of the examination. You cannot skip even a single section. Do not do selective studies. That's one of the most dangerous things we can do. I'm sure we are told not to gamble. It's not a good practice, even though our friend has done quite a lot in the past couple of days, but you're taking actually a big gamble by leaving out some areas, and that you should definitely not do. So thanks, Gaurav, thanks for sharing your journey. It's really inspiring. Personally, I've seen you grow in your career, and thanks for everything what you have been doing, and I wish you the best for your career ahead. I know there's a long way to go, but any closing thoughts you have, Gaurav?
Yep. Probably I'll just leave again with 1 or 2 points. Prioritize things, set realistic goals, and again, practice, practice, practice.
Yep.
Thank you, Param, for having me here, and it was nice talking to you.
Great, man. So this was Gaurav today with us. We hope this video will definitely give you some insights of his journey, how you can relate to it. It's something you need to definitely figure out. It's very important to learn from people's journey. That's what I will try to do from my side, bring you more and more success stories. And my whole agenda over here is to bring these success stories to motivate you to complete the qualification at the earliest point of time. If you have stopped, pick it back again. If you're doing it, finish it in a very considerable amount of time. So this was both of us today, Gaurav and myself. Thanks for watching this video. Do subscribe to my channel. It will help me or encourage me in bringing more such content for you. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.